Hello, friends and neighbors. Sarah Gaston here. You can't turn your phone while live. I don't know why it's telling me that. I wasn't attempting to turn my phone, but there it is. What is my hair doing? That was got a weird lump. Anyway, hi. How you doing? If you hear loud banging, that is because Maple has decided she's going to cause a ruckus. Maple is one of the bunny rabbits. So, in case you were wondering. You might also be asking yourself, why is she wearing a scarf? She appears to be inside. Well, I'll tell you the reason, because I'm a lizard person. And as a lizard person, I get cold. I get cold everywhere. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. As always, drop your comments or drop your questions in the comment section. I love to hear what questions you have. And, well, hello. I'm sideways. Thank you for that information. Okay, great. Am I not sideways now? Am I good now? Okay. I guess I'm good now. I don't know. My phone's doing weird things today. Okay, great. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, Carlos, you're just the funniest. You're the funniest ever. By the way, people see me drinking this big thing of water. Thank you, Sabrina. And they sometimes ask me if it's moonshine. It's not moonshine. It's just lemon water. So anyway. All right, Trish Hooper, thank you. By the way, Trish Hooper, I just watched Table Talk Tuesday. You people were cracking me up. My favorite cliche is, this fog is as thick as peanut butter. It's an expression. Anyway, welcome to my Facebook Live, where I answer your questions about the business and craft of acting. So please drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to be following up on my computer because, as you know, sometimes my phone just does weird things. I should probably get a new phone, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, a couple of announcements, and then I want to get into talking about this fantastic book. I know it's going to show backwards on this, and I apologize. I don't know what to do about that. And if you know how to do something about it, please drop it in the comments. Couple of announcements. I just launched a brand new online course, the Ultimate Script Analysis course. Everything you need to know about analyzing a script from A to Z. And it is on sale for the next 2 weeks. We are beta testing it just to get all the kinks out and get any feedback. And anyway, it's a fantastic course. It's basically a compilation of all my acting training in terms of analyzing a script, like going back to college. So it's really comprehensive. It contains stuff that you really, you wouldn't get the breadth of this information outside of like a university of conservatory. Why can't I talk today? Because I'm trying to talk too fast. You could not get this breadth of information typically outside of a university or college drama program. But I put it all together in a handy-dandy online course, so you can take it at your own pace and you can watch it over and over. So, hello Amanda, we missed you last night. Hi Joseph, hi. So that just came down the pipe. So yay! You guys don't understand. I have been thinking about this course and creating it in my mind for about 3 years now. So I'm so happy it is finally done. Huzzah. And the people cheered and the children danced to the pipes of Pan. Raise your imaginary beer. I know it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so hopefully, well, I shouldn't say hopefully you're not drinking beer. Rock on. It's your life. Anyway, all right, questions. While I'm waiting for your questions, I want to talk a little bit about something that we talked about in class last night. Class is always a good source of inspiration for my Facebook Live topics. And that is trying to figure out what your action is in the scene. So it is something that just bedevils actors, and I try to talk about it pretty much in every class. I have videos on it. I try to explain it extensively, and it still gets people confused. And specifically, we were talking about conflict. And the source of all conflict really is when you have conflicting needs or wants, okay? Whether it's, you know, with a friend or a neighbor or a spouse or a family member, or whether it's globally or nationally. You know, we see a lot of conflict right now in our country, the good old US of A, because we have people who feel very strongly about their want, right? And then of course emotion comes out of not getting our wants or our needs met, right? And or negative emotions come out of not getting those wants and needs met. But what met? You guys get what I'm saying. Yes, Sabrina, the loud background noise is in fact a loud truck. So I apologize. I was going to use my microphone today to ameliorate such possibilities, and I forgot. Anyway, so hello, Rebecca Stacy. Man, I want to become an archer like Rebecca Stacy. She's like my archery. She's my archery hero. Anyway, if you don't know Rebecca, you should. She's fabulous. She does makeup and locally on our, well, I don't know. She may be doing it not just locally, but anyway, she's a makeup artist. She's amazing and just about the sweetest person you could ever hope to meet. So anyway, back to my topic, which is actions. So actions are often used interchangeably with objective, motivation, my want. But basically, you want to have something in the scene that you're doing. Now, just to be clear, the doing can be an underlying driver. It's not necessarily, it's not an activity. So sometimes we hear action and we think, oh, it's an activity. It's not that in this case. It is what is underneath, what's driving, right? So say you're doing a scene and a man and a woman, you know, husband and wife are talking, and she's cooking dinner, and they're talking about, you know, they're discussing, you know, what they're cooking, or, you know, that they're about to have people over or whatever. Nobody's interested in a scene about cooking, right? You know, maybe on HGTV, right? But in a movie, right, where we're you know, people are living and dying and wanting great things, we're not really interested in a scene about cooking, right? So there's always going to be something kind of underneath the cooking, right? Like maybe she's resentful because he's not very helpful. Maybe he is annoyed because she seems preoccupied with the kids or whatever. So in that case, a want or a need might be, for the wife, say, I want to demand his attention, right? So that's the underlying need, that's the underlying action. But the conversation is around, you know, can you hand me the garlic powder or whatever, right? But there is this motor running underneath, which is about trying to get this need met, right? So we've always got to get really, really, really clear on that. Otherwise, it'll be a scene about cooking and no one will care, okay? Now, that led to the discussion about this fantastic resource. Now, I know it's backwards. My apologies. Again, don't know how to fix it. If you know how to fix it for Facebook Live, please drop it in the comments. But this is Actions, the Actor's Thesaurus, okay? You can get this on Amazon or many other outlets, I'm sure. I know we don't need to make Jeff Bezos more rich, but it's free shipping, so it's very tempting if you have Prime. Anyway, it literally is a book, and all it is actions, right? And so, you know, the next time you're sitting there, you know, going, gosh, let's see, I want to stop him from doing X, okay? I want to stop my husband from being preoccupied by work or whatever, right? Look at all these other juicy words we could use. Cripple, break, damage, debilitate, defeat, demoralize, deprive, destroy, disable, emasculate. Ooh, that's juicy. And I don't dislike men, by the way. Immobilize, impoverish, injure, incapacitate, maim, mangle, mutilate, paralyze, rout, ruin, sabotage, weaken, right? Or we could just say, stop. I want him to stop. I'm going to stop him, right? But cripple, that's juicy, right? And the whole idea is that this is not meant to be an academic exercise. This is meant to be a tool to give juice and life to your scene, because what tends to happen is people get a hold of a script and they look at just the words and they're like, this isn't interesting, nothing's happening here. Of course, because there's often something happening there that's not just about the words. on the page. So a great resource for you, Actions, the Actors Thesaurus. The other thing that you could do is just use thesaurus.com, hello, on your phone, for example, or on your computer, and you can insert the word stop and see what all the synonyms that come up for stop. And then, you know, maybe impede is the juiciest word that comes up for stop. And so you enter in impede and you do a search for synonyms for impede. And you keep on burrowing down till you find a word that really gives you juice, right? And remember, it's an action. It's a doing. It's not a thinking. It's not an affect. It's not like, oh, I'm having an attitude, or I'm trying to get him to blah, blah, blah. Those aren't really actually, there's no doing in that that's really going to be effective for you. So, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. I love the red lip too. It's new. All right, fantastic. So I see that some comments and some questions rather have come in. So I'm going to check out your questions. All right. Oh, good. I unflipped. So strange. I don't understand technology, truly. All right. Well, that's not working. So let's go back. I know Sabrina had a question. Great. So Sabrina asks, best agencies for kids, teens in Texas or Houston. So in Houston, Pastorini Bosby is great. That's who I'm with. Bee's Talent is good. I like First Models is good, and Page Parks is good. Those are all good agencies in Houston. Boyson is another one. They're a little bit newer. They're good. There's also one out of Corpus Christi called Blanco Agency, which a few of my students have signed with. I'd heard great things about them from Christine Canterbury, who is an incredible headshot photographer. If you need new headshots, y'all, just go to Christine. She's amazing. And it's Canterbury with a C, Christine with a K. Anyway, so those are all good agencies in Houston. As far as Texas, you know, I've heard different things, Rome Talent, Acclaim, but I don't know a whole lot about the kind of opportunities people are getting, specifically kids, from those agencies. A good place to start looking in any market is to go to the SAG-AFTRA website and see what their SAG accredited agencies are. Now, this does not mean that they're not a good, legitimate agency if they're not SAG affiliated, okay? I think I said accredited, I mean affiliated. It just means that they have a clearing through SAG, okay? So you will know without a doubt those are legitimate, vetted agencies, okay? So that's what I would recommend. You know, the other thing is, and this is true of all agencies, you'll have people that love that agency and you'll have people that did not love that agency. So part of it is submitting to all the agencies you're interested in, seeing if you even get an interview, and then going in to just feel out the situation and see if it feels like this is going to be a good working relationship. You know, some agencies are very comfortable, but maybe they seem like they're a little sluggish or a little lazy, but they're like super nice. Other agencies may feel like they're all business, but maybe that's what you want, is somebody who's all business, who you know is not going to be spending time chit-chatting with their actors all day, but is actually going to be out trying to hustle opportunities for you. So those are a couple of things to consider when you're looking at getting an agency for any age. All right, Jay Corey, my dear Jay, awesome. Hi, Jay. Let's see. Christina asks, when an agency says SC residents only, is Texas a resident or just part of the region? Okay. I'm not sure I quite understand the question, but I'll answer the question that I think you're asking. We are considered part of the Southeast region. Okay, so we would be considered part of Southeast residents, you know, but I will tell you, and that's probably to specify that, they're not interested in actors from New York or Los Angeles or Chicago. They're not going to want somebody that they're going to have to pay a lot to travel in, to fly in. But there's so many different specificities anymore for things like local hire and modified local hire. So it's what I would do is probably go back to your agent and just double check and say, because I've done that before with my agent. I'll sit there and say, well, they're asking for this, what should I say, as far as my situation goes. So you might want to go back to your agent and clarify. But when I read your question, what I think you're asking is if we would be considered Southeast residents here in Houston, and the answer is yes. Hello, Chris Pignon. Amanda asks, I know most of us have a job outside of acting, so when you sign with an agency, what kind of time commitment should you be prepared to make on a weekly basis for auditioning classes, etc.? Wow, what a fantastic question, Amanda, thank you. The answer is it depends. It's less about a time commitment, pardon me, and more about availability. Sometimes people have this idea that, I'm going to sign with an agent, but I have a high pressure sales job, or I'm a lawyer and, I have to work, Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. So I can't really audition then, and I can't really do jobs then. I have to do jobs outside those times. And here's the thing. This is, professional acting jobs are typically 6 days a week. And it's Monday through Friday, and then a Saturday or a Sunday. And they're typically anywhere, a day's shoot could be anywhere from like 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. So you've got to have availability. You got to be able to take off work or find a babysitter or all that stuff should you book a job. Luckily right now, it's a benefit of COVID, because COVID, let's face it, is a living nightmare in many ways. But one of the benefits right now is that the vast majority of auditions are virtual. You're either sending in a tape, or you may have a virtual callback, meaning it's a Zoom call, or you might be doing something through, one of the other platforms. But if you do say get a virtual callback, again, chances are it's going to be sometime during the workday, Monday through Friday. And so you just have to be available for that. And often it's not really negotiable. If they give you a time, that is the time you're supposed to do it, because they have a lot of people to see and they have a lot of people to schedule. And back when we were doing auditions live, we were again, it was typically the casting day begins around 9 or 10 a.m. and goes to 5, 6, 7 in the evening. And so you have to be you just have to be able to make it. You just do. Same thing for a callback. You got to be able to show up to the callback. If it is an out-of-town opportunity, sometimes they need you to go up a day or two early for a fitting, or for a makeup test or something like that. So there's that to factor in. Now, as far as what that's going to look like for you or any other actor, it depends. It just depends on how many markets you want to audition in. I know people who were driving back and forth to Austin and Dallas constantly, right? And it just depends on if that's what you want to do. I reached a point, and COVID really cemented it, where at this point I've done so many commercials, like I don't need to do a commercial for any sort of, visibility benefits. So, with all that driving back and forth, unless it pays really well, I'm not even interested in auditioning, because, pre-COVID, by the time you drove to Austin for the initial audition, drove up for the callback, drove up for the fitting, and then, you maybe had to stay 2 more days for the shoot, depending on how quickly after the fitting the shoot was, like how many days did you take off your life, right? Whatever your life is, whether it's being with your family or if you have a, a full-time job or whatever, or if you're a freelancer like me, just giving up work. And so then after a point, you have to start factoring that in. Now, when you're newer with an agency, it pays to be flexible and to be willing to basically go on any audition that they give you, simply because you haven't really proven your worth yet, because they don't make money unless you make money. So it makes a lot more sense when you're new with an agency to be a little bit more willing to go the extra mile for the possibility of a booking, just so that you can prove to them that you're bookable. I hope that I feel like I just covered all the areas of that question. If I didn't, please drop a follow-up in the comments. Kiefer Barlow, hi, hey. Carolyn, hi. Oh, the map says Central, so that's why I asked. Yeah, that's, you'll have to check with your agent. That's a little confusing. Evan, hello, my darling. If you live in Texas, it's hard to get jobs in California if you have an agent in LAX. I have an agent and manager in LA. It's hard for me. If you move to Cali, you will be very okay. All right. So that is Evan's experience, right? I will follow up on that and say that yes, I have a manager and agent in LA as well, and it is a little hard because they want to be able to see you when they want to see you, and also right now nobody's seeing anyone. So right now, like, my manager was like, stay put, don't come out for pilot season, don't do any of that, because we can see you virtually and you can fly in to test if you book. So again, we're in a whole new world, and we don't know how much longer our world is going to look like this. But in terms of not having to travel and being able to do things virtually, it's kind of a beautiful thing. I mean, I remember the days of, driving to Austin or Dallas, to do, have 5 minutes in the room to do some improv for a commercial, getting a call back, driving back to Dallas or Houston, so that like 5 guys can sit in a room and really not be interested in you. I mean, I say they're not interested, that's not true. They're looking for somebody to cast for the role, but sometimes they're on their computer, they're eating a sandwich, or they're just kind of sitting there looking at you like that. So you feel like they hate your guts, and then of course, later you book sometimes. But, it's just so funny how for the longest time, casting directors and specifically ad agency and commercial producers were so insistent on getting that actor in that room just for that 5 minutes. And now it's just like, you just send a video, right? You save a day's travel. I think it's kind of brilliant. So anyway, Christina asks, is it better to submit to multiple agencies in the same region at once or one at a time? Yes. Submit to as many agents in the region as have an interest for you, because you never know who's going to bite, right? You never know if they need your type. You never know if they're so swamped that they're not even seeing people right now. You just never know. So yeah, throw a lot of spaghetti at that wall. See who follows up. Interview with everybody that follows up, and again, see what feels like home. See what feels like is going to be the best working relationship. Okay, Evan says, I know what I'm talking about because I'm a big time celebrity now. I know what I'm talking about. All right, Evan, way to own it. Evan was on Ozark. So anyway, let's see. Yes. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, Caroline, when do you know if it's time for a manager? What are the benefits of having one? Okay, I would say Matt Chase is here. That's my manager. Of course I quote you, Matt. Please, you are the wisdom king. So yes, it's so funny, Caroline, that my manager commented right after you asked that question. Here's my opinion about having a manager. you don't need a manager really unless you go to a bigger market, okay? Because a manager helps guide your career and pitches you for things and helps you find the photographer that's best for you and find the classes that's best for you and that sort of thing. They're very, very hands-on. But if you're not going to be in a bigger market, you know, here in our region, we're kind of limited to what is even there for us, right? We're limited to what's sort of in, you know, New Mexico and Louisiana and Atlanta and, you know, Texas, okay? A little bit of stuff a little bit more north and a little bit more east at times has been the case. The other thing too is, do you have a body of work to bring to a manager to show that you're booking and that you are ready for another level? Because a lot of people, I believe, and Matt may correct me in the notes and say something different, but a lot of people think, oh, I want a manager because I really want help getting this train going. And it's been my experience that you got to get the train going, and then a manager will help take you to another level. But if you're relatively getting started as a professional actor, there's just probably not a whole lot that a manager can do for you, because you simply don't have the list of the body of work for them to really be able to sell you. Now, I'm sure there are exceptions to that, right? But I would say the exception might be more like a specialty, right? So if you're somebody who has an extraordinarily unique look, if you are an athlete and, you know, somebody who has celebrity in another arena and you're new to acting or you want to be an actor, that's a little different. But for, you know, us kind of basic bread and butter Caucasian actors, I'd say, you know, have a decent body of work under you before you look into getting a manager, because there's probably not a whole lot they can do for you, especially in this market. So, all right. Yes, Jay says, I do not miss the days of 6-hour drive for a 2-minute look-see. Yes. Oh, Amanda, do all agencies in the same region get the same casting calls? No, they do not. Different casting directors will go to different agencies based on the stable of talent that agency has. Because, believe me, there were times when, and this is one of the reasons I eventually switched agencies, because there was a time when I would see my peers who were my same age range and type getting an opportunity that I wasn't getting, because either my agent wasn't getting those breakdowns or my agent wasn't submitting me for those breakdowns. By the way, if you're wondering if you're getting sent out for stuff, you can ask your agent or your manager, if you have one, for a list of your submissions. What have I been submitted for recently, right? There have been times that I've gone back to my agent now and said, hey, I hear this thing is going on. I think there's something in there for me. Was I submitted, or can we check on this? So, yeah, but no, they don't all get the same breakdowns, because, you know, agencies now are a little bit like mushrooms, especially with Atlanta and Louisiana having blown up. You know, they're probably not going to call everybody. So that's the answer to that. The other thing is different agencies get different breakdowns. For example, some agents in our region get the LA breakdowns and some agents don't, right? As far as I know, PB still doesn't mess with the LA breakdowns. They just don't. They focus on the regional breakdowns. So that's a great question, though. And that's something to ask a potential agent is, what are all the breakdowns that you see? What regions will I get submitted for, so that you know that ahead of time. Okay. All right. Hey, Anna Lynn. Okay. All right. Hey, Natalie. Hi. Thank you. So, okay, affirmation from a manager. Spot on advice. 80% of your work is going to come from you. Yeah, by the way, even if you have an agent, even if you have a manager, it's still our hustle, guys. It really is. Caroline, you're very, very welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Christina says, is it a bad idea to submit to agencies that only have modeling on their name, but they still represent actors? You know, that's so hard to talk about in generalities. Here's what I will say, that if they're primarily known as a modeling agency, but they still have actors on their roster, it could be that casting directors do not see them as a source for actors, and so they would be less likely to bring those people in for acting roles. I see this a lot of times with Page Parks. People have a perception of them strictly as a modeling agency, and they actually have both. But because that is often the perception, people don't think to either submit there for acting representation, or they might just not think to bring in their people because they're like, oh, they only have models there, and you know, we need a rugged guy or whatever. And that's not true. They have all those different types, but it's just a perception thing. So that's a great question, though, because that's definitely something to consider, whether that agency is actually going to be getting those jobs. So yeah, great question. Amanda, I'm so glad that was helpful. Oh, Caroline, that's odd. Okay, I don't know about that. Yes, you know, they are working very, very hard. Yes, great. Hello, Mark Christian. Evan says, why is Mark watching? I don't know. Maybe Mark wants to see if I've got anything good to say. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If there are no more questions, I don't see any more questions in the comments section. So if there are no more questions, I will wrap up because, as you know, I believe time is our most valuable and non-renewable resource. So I certainly do not want to waste it. So I'm going to make a couple of announcements. If you've got more questions, drop them in the comments. If not, thank you so much for joining me. Again, I have my script analysis course up, and it's an online course, so you can take it at your own pace, and I'm offering a discount for the next 2 weeks. You can find it on my website, www.sarahgaston.com. The link is there, and you're very welcome, Annalyn. It's my pleasure. I would suggest that you go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I've got over 100 videos right now, and they're all sorts of advice and ruminations on the business and craft of acting. So if you are just kind of wanting some things to keep you motivated and to keep you, remind you of all these things that so many of us already know, but we just need the reminder, I've got plenty of videos on there. Hello, Brian Byrne. Hello, Eric Alvarado. And oh, you're very welcome, Christina. Anyway, sorry, there are funny things in the comments. Anyway, I would subscribe to my YouTube channel because I drop a new video every week, and sometimes I just drop in some surprises. Some of you know that I'm working with Joe Grasaffi, and we're working on a podcast called Your Mileage May Vary, where we have discussions with different actors and directors we know, or we just have conversations about the business among ourselves. And there's a hey Todd, wait, I was just thinking about you this morning and your funny post about slings and arrows. I missed that, Joe. Anyway, I have lots of videos with cover lots of different topics. Also, I would suggest subscribing to my email list. You can also find access to that on my website because I share things there about the business that I don't share anywhere else. I just sent out an audition for something that's going on locally. Hello, David Thomas. Hello, Bert Lopez. Hello. Oh, Todd, I miss you. I miss you. I give a heart to Todd. And so the podcast right now is just in video form. You can find it on my YouTube channel, but we're building up enough episodes so that we can actually rip it and post it on like Apple or one of those other podcast sites. Anyway, and also if you are interested in possibly taking classes with me or doing some private coaching, you can also learn more about that on my website. I have a great ongoing Tuesday night class, and we just have a stellar group of people who want to learn, who want to grow, who want to become the best, most masterful actors they can be. And we always welcome new members. And Anyway, yes. I know, Evan. I know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Guys, stay safe. Keep your chins up. I know it's challenging. We're almost going on a year now, and I know this is just wearing everybody out. But hang in there. I'm here for you every week, just to chat and offer support and answer your questions in the best way I know how. So love you so much. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.